Hey everyone, welcome to another LEGO Fan video. I'm your host LEGO Fan, and I do fun LEGO videos at about 10 steps a video, as well as cool Ben 10 videos. If you guys are new, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified of my next video. And with that out of the way, let's get started. So, I am currently going through Season 2 of Ben 10, and I run this LEGO quiz. You get 10 seconds to guess which character of these remaining characters I have said the line that I will put up. So, I already have my first character set up, and let's start with the character. So, his first line is this.
Ben Tennyson is not a good boy. He's a great boy. I don't know if it's bad karma to pat ourselves in the back, Sandra, but we've done a pretty good job as parents.
You're gonna regret saying that 5 seconds later. Of these characters, which one said that line? 10 seconds, good luck. So that is the character Carl Tennyson, Ben's father, or dad, however you want to say it. He's a human first appearing in Grounded, having the same experience as Sandra, who grounded Ben for fighting the hybrid, and as a result, he got a black eye. Ben got a black eye. So, in response to this, they restricted the tech that he was allowed to use, including phone, computer, anything that might, like, gain him communication to the group. But when he saw what Ben was actually doing, compared to Sandra, who was initially mad at Ben, he actually was accepting of Ben and what he was doing, and allowed Ben to fight the hybrid and got Sandra to actually agree. And they took part in the final fight, blasting the hybrid away with the British bazooka. Unfortunately, that was the only shot it had, but Ben intervened and used it as a baseball bat to fling it into the tankard, destroying it, and they managed to get to safety, and they also became less restricted in the process. So, he doesn't really have a lot in terms of powers, considering the fact that he is just a normal human, though he has a lot of knowledge, mostly about the plumbers, the Omnitrix, as well as knowledge on the DNA aliens and the hybrid. Now, when I say knowledge, I should say that means that they know about it. They don't know a lot about it, but they do know about it, and they know that it exists, and they know that Ben might be using it, or they just know like they exist. That's knowledge, my definition of it. He also has a plumber bazooka, but he lost it and grounded, and now it hangs as a mantelpiece. But he can operate a laser gun. He can also swim. Swim is strict and is very smart. Now, the next power, the fact that he's a structural engineer, I don't know if that's actually canon or not, considering the fact that that was in the finale of Ben 10, the original series. So whether or not that's canon, I don't know. If it is, let me know in the comments down below. If it's not, either way, just let me know if it is canon, because I don't know if it is. We could say, like, in another universe, in another timeline, he's a structural engineer, because we actually don't know what job he holds in the main timeline. But he has no special abilities of his own, and like Sandra, he is very gullible. He also tends to bicker with Grandpa Max on it, mostly about the fact that he kept the plumbers a secret for so long, and is more laid back in terms of parenting. The next character up has his first line of this, and he probably should have chosen a more serious alien to say this line, rather than the one that's used, and this is the first line.
You wanna talk? Let's talk.
It just sounds so stupid coming from his mouth. Anyways, of these remaining characters, which one said that line? 10 seconds, good luck. So that is my personal favorite alien of Goop. This one here. All Ben 10 fans have at least one alien that they like over the others. Of the original, I like Ripjaws, but overall, my favorite alien has always been Goop. I just love its voice. I just love its powers. How it's essentially a talking pile of goo, hence its name. It's just so much fun. So he's a polymorph, first appearing in Dark Star Rising, battling Galil after Galil wrapped up Kevin, and managed to actually beat him, tying him down, and removing the gun from his hand. Then he changed back off screen. In Good Copy, Bad Copy, he was used briefly by Albedo to scope out the computer warehouse before he came across Gwen and Kevin. Then Ben used him to battle Albedo before Albedo changed to Humongosaur. In Undercover, he was used to rescue Cooper for the first time, at first seeing what was on the other side, then saving Cooper from the 2D aliens when Ben changed back, with Ben changing back shortly after. Then, in Birds of a Feather, he saved Simeon after getting knocked out before encasing him in a ball and bouncing out of the building. So, he is pretty much the most useful alien you can come across. So he has some sort of flexibility with his anti-gravity projector, and it has enhanced agility as well as being nigh on indestructible, considering the fact that he is a living, breathing, talking pile of goo. He also can regenerate any lost limbs, and if he is blown up, if he still has his anti-gravity disc, he can use that mentally to pick up any parts of him. I don't know how else to say it, but that's really the best way I could say it. He can also enter small cracks and expand his size. He also is somewhat strong for his ability and can wrap around a type of person to the point where he can control their movements, as well as extend his body to encase a person as some sort of attack. He can also toss his goo as a projectile and make this goo acidic. He can also reform his body to avoid projectiles and reshape his body like a... For example, he can reshape it into one eye to view over cracks, as well as reform his body into a ball to encase people and carry them to safety. The best way, if you ever actually... I kind of do these, like, if you are going to face them, this is what you're going to face, and this is how you're going to beat them. That's kind of how I structure my things. The best way you're going to knock out goo is by targeting this thing here. If it is knocked away, destroyed, turned off, or just far away from him, you can defeat him, because then he just becomes an immobile puddle of goo that he can't do anything at all. Because it does not... Compared to other aliens, where it's alright for them to be on our gravity, this alien cannot be in our gravity. It has to have something in order for it to actually walk around and do stuff. Otherwise, it's just a pile of goo. Next one up is this one.
You bet he is.
Which one of these characters said that line? 10 seconds, good luck. So, that was the character known as Azimuth. This one right here. A goblin, first appearing in that episode, Good Copy, Bad Copy, teleported in to help Ben deal with Albedo by removing Albedo's Omnitrix core since he was Azimuth's lab assistant, and then trapped him in his human form and teleported him away to a jail cell. He then approached Ben, warning him of a lot of difficult trials before teleporting away to Galvan Prime. In War of the Worlds Part 1, he was rescued from Galvan Prime after it was attacked by the hybrids by Paradox, and he was taken to Earth to get Ben ready for the final fight. Though he was initially hesitant, he eventually agreed to give Ben Master Control to help fight the hybrid, and took part in the final fight but barely did anything considering the fact that he's small and not as strong. In War of the Worlds Part 2, he continued to fight and tagged along with Ben on his journey to the Hybrid Supreme, supposedly to safeguard the Omnitrix, though a lot of people in the episode pointed out that it was probably just to say, like, hey, I'm friends with Ben. So after the fight, he teleported away with Paradox to help rebuild Galvan Prime. So, being the creator of the Omnitrix, he obviously has a lot of knowledge on its inner workings and its features, as well as the ability to control and unlock certain features on it with his own voice. And he's also incredibly smart, has a super jump, knowledge on mana, and has typical powers of a Galvan, being able to fit in small places due to his small stature, and can breathe underwater for at least a brief amount of time. He also has a high jump and the ability to stick to surfaces, since he's pretty sticky, and is very agile and can walk up walls / climb vertically. But he's very egocentric and self-centered, and due to his size, he can be easily picked up, and his small size can be a disadvantage if he faces bigger enemies, and often underestimates Ben. Therefore, he does not even trust Ben enough, and he is not strong at all. He also, considering the fact that he can't even lift up the DNA gun without any help. He also can be easily stuck on goo, and can be said that he is a pacifist, as he originally intended the Omnitrix to be a sort of Noah's Ark thing to bring peace to the universe instead of being a weapon of mass destruction as it came to be known. Next line up is this one.
You get it, Ben? The kit weighs 25 kilograms, 3 meters per second, 2 meters from the sun in the merry-go-round.
What?
Yeah, and she was eating chili fries at the time. Well, I just kind of revealed who it was. But of these characters, which one said that line? 2 said that line. 10 seconds, good luck. So I just revealed it's a she, and considering the fact that there's only one, arguably 2 characters here that are a she, I think it's kind of obvious which one said that line. It's this character right here. And this is her without her little sweatshirt that she typically wears. It's often referred to as her tennis outfit. So this character's name is Julie, Ben's girlfriend at the time. A human first appearing in Good Copy, Bad Copy, helping tutor Ben for an upcoming physics test that he had, and then made a brief appearance at the end, showing that she got an A+ on the test. Then in Prep Project, she briefly joined the group in order to rescue Chip from Chadwick and the Forever Knights, managing to rescue him and free him of the mind control he was put under via the whole let me reason with him method. Then in War of the Worlds Part 1, she was hired off screen to participate in the final fight, to which she said yes, and teamed up with Chip in order to take on the hybrid and DN aliens in a final fight, and continued the fight in War of the Worlds Part 2, and let Ben use Chip to get to the hybrid Supreme. Then she flew home on Chip, saying she was still under curfew. So she is an excellent tennis player and knows about the Omnitrix, and is smart and serves as a tutor to Ben, who also really cares about him. She also can ride a moped and takes really good notes. She also can understand Chip, and Chip trusts her and has the ability to call him whenever she needs him. She also is a decent fighter and a good catcher, and is strong enough to knock out a Forever Knight with a weapon. But she loves Ben, which makes her a possible damsel in distress, and lacks any abilities of her own. Next character up has his first line of this.
I'll catch a little blob for you.
Of these characters, which 2 said that line? 10 seconds, good luck. So that is this one and this one. One with his face shield down and one with the face shield up. This is the character Sir Morton, a human first appearing in Pet Project, leading the small army of Forever Knights with the help of Chadwick in the episode under the order of him. On his own, he battled Gwen and Kevin in order to capture Chip, and he actually succeeded in this and brought him back for capture by Chadwick, so that way he could be mind controlled to further their plot. And afterwards, he fought in the house where they were doing all these experiments, but he was quickly knocked out and thrown down the secret stairs. But once and took part in the final fight in the episode. Once Chip regained control, he ignored Chadwick's orders to retreat, and instead ordered the Knights to stay and fight, despite the fact that Chip was the Antarian obliterator form. And once the explosion started, he was shown trying to leave with 3 Knights, but it's unknown if he actually did escape. So he has a hovercraft that can enable him to fly, as well as a super speed. He also has a laser lance that he can call, as well as a taser version, as you can see here. He also has a kinetic face shield, as well as full body armor, being the only knight that actually does have full body armor that is not a robot. next to those two that we'll get to in Omniverse, which I'm pretty sure you know which two. He also often equips himself with a shield and is very agile and durable, able to survive a fall from his hovercraft with no visual injuries. He also has electric discs that can short out machines and a special container that has a magnetic pole in order to capture ships. He also leads a small batch of knights that are very loyal to him. But despite all the armor, he can be knocked out easily with one good hit, and can be a bit too brave to the point of stupidity, as shown when he orders men to keep fighting even though that they lost control of ship and now has the Antirian obliterated form. So the next one up actually doesn't have a first line, and doesn't really actually have an official name in the show. So I put two names that they're often called the Necrophrygian Babies, or Big Chill's offspring. So which one is that of these remaining characters? 10 seconds, good luck. So that would be this guy right here. I wanted to get a whole picture of all of them, but I could only get this one. So you might know these if you ever see any fan art of Big Chill. You'll often see this character along with Big Chill. So they are Necrophrygians, first appearing in Save the Last Dance, where their eggs were laid by Big Chill, and throughout the course of the episode, Big Chill amassed a massive medal in order to protect them, so that way they can hatch in relative peace. But when they did hatch at last, and at the end of the episode, they were ushered off by Big Chill, so that way they could continue their life cycle by feeding off the solar plasma of the sun. No, they were never seen again, but if you do want a reappearance of them, I would I would go to Ink Tank's channel, in which they did an episode of And Beyond that did focus on the Big Chill offspring. So they do care about Big Chill being the parent, of course, and they can breathe in outer space and stand extreme heat, so that way they can actually feed off the solar plasma. And they have typical Necrophrygian powers, the ability to fly. They are very fast and agile, can go invisible and unchangeable with anything they go through, being able to freeze. They also have freeze breath, which can be just a powerful wind gust or a cool breeze. They also seem to manipulate the ice that it can take. They are also very durable, freeze objects like armors and roadway. Deflect a flamethrower with their breath, somewhat strong, can eat metal and drink molten metal, and are immune to mana, or at least can resist it to a certain degree. But being babies, they still lack communication skills and have typical Necrophrygian weaknesses, like special tech can make them visible to others. They can be caught by a net, has to think to go invisible, otherwise they won't be able to if they are caught off guard. They also can run out of breath, knowing their powers, and be electrocuted. Next lineup is this one.
I ask what you already know. Are you testing us?
I regret saying that. But of the remaining characters I have here, which one said that line? 10 seconds, good luck. So that was the character known as the Forever Knights, or the characters known as Forever Knights. They are human, first appearing in Dark Star Rising as a hologram used by Galil in order to trap Ben in the Kura warehouse, and they were deactivated once they fell in for the trap. Then in Good Copy, Bad Copy, multiple castles of theirs were destroyed by Obeo to try and get information as to where Ben 10 is located. And while many did fight back, they lost, and in the episode, 2 castles of theirs were destroyed, and probably many others were destroyed off-screen. Then in Pet Project, a few were under Sir Moy and Chadwick's control, but they really were mostly background characters, acting as cannon fodder, and many were killed in the explosion at the end. So they have knowledge on aliens and alien tech, as well as on regular tech, with some equipped with a laser staff, as well as an electric lance that can break mana. They are also very durable, and some are expert scientists, with many of them being intelligent. They also are equipped with a laser sword or just a regular sword and shield. They can also run fast. They are somewhat good drivers, somewhat agile. Some are equipped with an electronic mace. They have laser lancers, which is the weapon you see here. They also have knowledge on the criminal underbelly and are often seen in an army. They also are decent fighters, some own castles, and they have knowledge on DN aliens. But they can be knocked out with enough force and usually don't know what to do without orders. They usually also have slow reaction speeds, and some are not as bright as others, as one did use a visibly damaged weapon. They also have some of them also have weak armor. Next character up has his first line of this.
This instant. Why?
That whispery why. So, of these characters remaining, which two said that line? 10 seconds, good luck. So that is Big Chill. We already kind of mentioned it. So this is Big Chill in its cloaked and uncloaked form. A Necrophrygian first appearing alone together in order to help Ryan cool off after Ben noticed he was dehydrated. And afterwards it was shooed away where it found water. But it was really a trap set by the Dravik, and luckily Big Chill escaped and with the help of Rani killed it before changing back off screen after Rani found some water. Then in good copy bad copy, Albert used it to fly away from Burger Shack after he filled up on chili fries, and decided to take on another Castle of Forever Nights, this time aided by Gwen and Kevin, who didn't know about Albedo at the time. Ben used him in the same scene in order to catch up to Albedo and the gang, changing back shortly afterwards. Later, Albert used him to battle Ben and to beat Swampfire, but lost to Brainstorm and was forced to change to Echo Echo. Then, in Save the Last Dance, it took over Ben in order to, reproduce, and first appeared to save a car that lost its brakes, before it then decided to eat the car. After this, it forcibly changed out of Jetway to Big Chill to continue making the nest by eating a restaurant called Burger House. After this, it once again took control to Kasuma at Foundry, where it drank molten metal before returning to the nest where it was revealed that it laid eggs and changed back shortly afterwards. Then in Voided, it took out the furnace, powering the interdimensional drill before changing back, and in Birds of a Feather, it froze the door and Simeon punched it to get through to the crystal before flying down to save Lou, who was tossed by Simeon and changed to Jetway. As you can see, I'm avoiding saying he because it technically is in it. It is a unisex alien in a way, and it has been confirmed that Big Chill is both a man and a woman, depending on what happens. But I'll get to that when I list weaknesses. So, it can fly and has a cloaked form. It doesn't need to go out of its cloaked form in order to fly. And it can also go invisible and intangible with anything that passes through freezing on contact. It also has freeze breath, which can be a wind gust or just a cool breeze. It also can manipulate the shape the ice can take, and it is durable. It can also freeze objects like armors and roadways, and deflect a flamethrower with its own breath. It's also somewhat strong and can eat metal and drink molten metal, as well as being immune to mana, or at least can resist it to a certain degree. It also can grow ice crystals as a result, and possibly make it snow, though that might be a result of the drill being destroyed. But special tech can make it invisible to others, and it can be caught by a net. It also has to think to go invisible. If caught off guard, it won't be able to. It also can run a breath which can null its powers, and it can be electrocuted. And every 80 years, it has to reproduce, making it semi-conscious within the Omnitrix, since it has to mentally do this. It also can possess Ben. This can make it possess Ben and the Omnitrix as well. And in this state, it can come across as rude and very protective of the babies. Next character up has his first line of... So, of the remaining two characters I have, which one said that line? 10 seconds, good luck. So that was Echo Echo. This character right here. Sonarosian first appearing in Dark Star Rising to stun Michael before changing into Spider Monkey in order to continue the attack. Then alone together he battled Ryan in a warehouse which contained a teleport bed. But while fighting, Kevin accidentally hit her with a rock, and both he and Ronnie were teleported to Turwas, where they continued to battle, but then a Dravik interrupted. And after dealing with the Dravik, Echo managed to find a second teleport back via echolocation and started heading that way, but changed back when Ryan was disgusted by his form. Then a good copy, bad copy, Obeya used him to battle Brainstorm and won against him, but was forced to change to Spider Monkey. And then in Undercover, he was often carried by Kevin to knock out DN aliens after realizing they are weak to sonic sounds. And they battled numerous waves and rescued Cooper a second time before Ryan to the cloaking projector where he changed back. Then in Grounded, he tried sneaking out of the house but instead was sent to his room where he aided Gwen in taking out the DN aliens before getting his phone taken away. And then changed it back shortly after that. Then in Unearthed, he split up to try and get the power coupling away from the DN aliens and succeeded, being 4 of them up in the process, and changed it back once the last one was beat. As I said, Goop is my favorite alien, but favorite power-wise, I'm probably giving it to Echo. So it could duplicate itself, but unlike Ditto, the other cloning alien, these clones are separate and not connected, and it can unleash a sonar screen, and the size of this can vary. It can also be done by the clones at the same time, which is often called a wall of sound, one of Ben's few named moves. It can also amplify this if it's connected to a metal in some way, and can transfer it through technology like a phone. It's also quite strong for its size, and it's very agile and quite durable. It can also redirect objects by its sonar screen, and it's loud enough to knock people backwards. It also can perform echolocation to help locate objects far away, and has a super jump. But its sonar screams can damage ears of its teammates nearby, and it's weak to Argent's needles. So the last character that we have for today and the rest of Season 2 has his first line of this.
Helen! What have you done? You brought an outsider here? Nobody gets to see the wrench. Nobody!
He's a friend.
Almost revealed the name there. But do you know who this character is? 10 seconds to figure it out. Good luck. So this is Pierce wheels. Half human, half unknown, Argent species. That's what we know. And in Voided, he acted as the guard to the wrench's hiding place and fought Ben to see if he was worthy enough to see him. After he won, he then took part in... After he won, he took him to see the wrench, where it was revealed that Ben was actually holding back, and he assembled the army, and took part in the final fight at the furnace. Then in War of the Worlds Part 2, he destroyed the guns used by the DN aliens and helped keep control of the tower. After the fight, he left with Max to become a true plumber. Everyone always says that Pierce is the one that often gets the shaft of the plumber's kids, which is Helen, Alan, Manny, and Pierce. And yeah, that is true, considering the fact that he's one of the few Ben 10 characters that... I'm gonna spoil something here, so warning. He does die in Ben 10. And he is the leader of Helen and Manny's little social group, and had a jetpack, and is very agile. He's also an excellent fighter and could break off spikes on him to use as weapons, and is a very fair fighter and will give people spikes off of him in order to use as a weapon. He also can spawn and grow his spikes wherever on his body in order to act as a defense, and could curl up in a ball and launch spikes out of it. He also has the same powers of Argent species, where he could shoot needles which could paralyze or knock out a person, and these are also strong enough to get stuck on cement. But it's clear that he's quick to anger and can be hurt by his own needles. He also can get stuck on the ground. Thank you guys for watching. I'll do Venom next time. Meanwhile, in the meantime, I will be going over half of Season 3. And I'll go over the characters that appeared in the first half of Season 3 of Alien Force. And then I'll do the second half, because I cannot do all 20 in one episode. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys then. So long.